Hi, welcome in. Welcome to Forever Unfolding. If you are feeling stressed, overwhelmed, and a little paralyzed by anxiety, hopefully this can bring you a breath of fresh air or just reassurance that what you're doing isn't going unnoticed and it's actually helping the overall collective world in its state. So, if you're trying to survive this summer of world chaos, just like I am, let's do this together because it is not easy and it works if we do it together. And leading into the number one thing, I understand that the world can be very overwhelming, especially with everything that you're consuming. If you're on social media, if you're on the TV, on the news, getting your information from every which way, you are going to be taking all of this in, and it's going to be a lot of things for you to digest. And if you are not able to digest one thing at a time, it's gonna just pile on and just feel like a whole lot of weight on your shoulder. And having no reassurance or hope and just feeling helpless won't help the situation at all. If anything, it'll obviously bring you down more. But I'm here to share that every single thing that you are doing is helping the overall collective. If you have an empathetic heart and you are feeling empathetic towards these people and the whole state of the world and what's happening, and those who don't have a voice, those being shown cruelty altogether and just literally inhumane ways of doing things, you actually see it as alarming, as a red flag, as something to bring attention to. You have a heart and you are human, and that is okay. And I know alongside that comes feeling anxious, feeling helpless, not knowing what to do. And I'm here to tell you that that is okay, and validating your feelings because it's okay. Like, it is so understandable, especially knowing that this is something that a lot of us are not used to experiencing. We have never experienced this in our lifetime, even though this was built on that same treatment, like the and whenever I say, let me phrase this now and get that out of the way. Whenever I say they, them, I'm referring to the white colonialism, the way the structure, the top people who are allowing this certain behavior and have only known this sort of behavior and thrive in this sort of behavior because they are in that circumstance to gain something from the cruel treatment of others. Then that's who I'm referring to when I say they, them, because history repeats itself, and this whole structure system was built on that, and now it's getting to the point of crumbling, which is why they are feeling fearful towards us and using our voice, which is why they have to put more fear so that we can be paralyzed and not do anything. That's their way of controlling the masses, is through fear, because a lot of us do work with fear in terms of working with doing things because we fear specific things. We are human and we experience these emotions, and that's how they have been controlling us for the past, how long has the US been around? And it's not explicit just for the US. This is how a lot of people control people. That's manipulation. That's blackmailing. You do it with fear because fear makes people move a specific way. But I'm here to tell you that this is worldwide. It's also the US, but it's also worldwide. We are in the midst of destruction of a whole system, and before we can recreate and rebuild a new system and a new foundation, the old one has to crumble. And destruction is loud, guys. It's not silent. And Eliza Days, oh my god, I love you, on TikTok. This woman has been speaking to my soul for years, since my spiritual awakening. And let me tell you, she always just reassures me everything. And I want to be that voice for you too. But I'm going to use what she said because it hit. In terms of feeling helpless and hopeless, you feel like what you're doing is not making any difference. And she used the example of cutting down trees. When you cut down a tree, it's going to be loud. You're going to hear the chainsaw, you're going to hear the tree falling and dropping on the floor. But when you plant a seed to, grow a tree or a plant, that is very quiet. You may not even hear that is happening. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't plant trees. You shouldn't plant plants. It doesn't mean that it's not going to make a difference if you plant a tree or not. That takes time. It takes a lot of time. And destruction could be like this, and it is more or less in a snap of a finger. It collapses, it falls. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't plant any trees. Same for the other example that she used was about snowflakes. So one snowflake can mean you could see a snowflake and think that it's harmless. It's not going to do anything to you. But if you get a lot of snowflakes, you can make a whole avalanche, a whole windstorm, a whole snowstorm that can literally hold something down, can trap something. The point she was trying to make is that even though it feels minuscule, it feels like you're not making any change, you are. That goes on to my next trickle of little inspiration and reassurance that I got from Instagram. I forgot hers. I literally just stumbled upon her too. But she basically shared that to not get, pretty much, I'm a butcher what she said, it's paraphrasing, but she basically said not to worry in terms of when the show that is going on in the world is just a show. And I have known this, I have clocked that politics and all these things is very much like puppetry. They're just kind of up there to distract us and divide us and make us distracted, which is what most media is just distraction. I'm not saying all, obviously, but a lot of the media is very distractful. It's kind of counterintuitive to what we should be doing, but it's there, It's basically saying not to get lost in the show of the chaos of what's going on in the world, because they want us to feel paralyzed. They want us to fear and have so much anxiety that we cannot move, leading to not doing things, leading to us not being aligned with what we should be doing and what we should be focusing on, which is ourselves and our community and our loved ones. And that is basically the way to not get sucked into everything. And she basically also said that the revolution is not going to be televised, which is what Kendrick Lamar was saying in his Super Bowl, was that it's going to be televised, but not in the sense of them, who I referred to earlier. Fox News, all those outlets that just like to create a certain narrative, CNN, all that jazz, you know what you've heard, you know what's going on. It's going to be televised in the way that is going to be hurtful to them, because we are going to be working in a community, which is what they don't want. They don't want us to be working together. They want us to stay divided. They want us to stay trying to be superior over the other, which that is, again, counterintuitive. You are not better than anyone else, and no one is better than you. We are one and the same, and we all should be working together towards one common goal, which is to overthrow the system that keeps us stuck, basically, and that treats us like garbage. I forget, I shouldn't be cussing on here, but nonetheless, the more you devote yourself to you, going back to the previous episode, if you continue taking aligned action with what you want to do, with how you show up for yourself, with healing, if people were emotional intelligence is something that I feel like should be taught at a young age, but it is not, because they don't want us to be emotionally intelligent. They want us to live and work through our brain only, which is what they've been wanting to share and have us think that is the right way to go about living your life, working through our brain, which is why a lot of people have all these disorders like anxiety and bipolar disorder and just like a bunch of disorders, because we're all kind of living in our brains, and our brains are nowhere to be lived in if you want to go anywhere or align to your purpose here on earth and align to your higher self. Because if you move through your brain, you're basically just gonna be a robot stuck in a loop, and you're not gonna live life. You're gonna be in your brain, anxious, terrified, and all the other low vibrational emotions. And not to say that those emotions are bad, because you need to feel all of your emotions and you need to confront them and let them go as they show up. But if you live in them, if you stay stuck in those emotions, that's what kind of lowers your frequency or makes you attract more things like that, similar to that, which is why they call them like frequencies, because you're gonna be aligned to that frequency of those emotions, which is why it should be taught, and more awareness should be around emotional intelligence. Because if you're able to regulate your own emotions and move with intentional action instead of reactions, the world would be a better place. Emotional intelligence is very much needed. That can prevent a lot of people from going to jail, a lot of people from harming themselves, a lot of people from just all the destruction of the world if you were emotionally intelligent. Which is why if you see all these people that all these things that are happening in the world with like ICE agents and people, all these men and people are hiding behind things, a name, a title, whatever it may be. Those who have a badge that are, every video that I have seen that their ego gets touched a little bit, they say something, or someone says something they don't like, their ego gets very triggered, and they act on that in a violent manner, meaning and resulting in an innocent person getting military force violence and just unnecessary reactions. And that's emotional immaturity right there. That's low emotional intelligence, which is why they get triggered and they react a specific way that is not to their best of their senses, because they don't have that emotional intelligence. Which is why I feel like those positions that are in, who have that power, should have something that exercises their emotional intelligence, but they don't, because they don't need that, they don't want that. And by they, I mean, again, the people in power, the people behind all these structures. And that is another thing that is leaning back to the devotion and showing up for yourself and aligning with your true purpose and just anything that brings joy and, again, isn't harming anyone. Those things, if you continue with aligned action and working on yourself to be a better a better version of you, Jesus, if you work towards being a better person and a better version of you, then you are healing yourself as a whole, and the whole universe is healing at the same time. because the more people we have, it's kind of like you're on the same team. Like, that's literally all it is. You are all on the same team. It's not you versus them. And the only reason why I'm referring to the colonial and them and they, the only reason why I'm doing that, so that you can know that it's not the people, the regular civilians that are just mindlessly following those people and what they say. It is not those people that you should be angry at. Sure, they don't know any better. They don't have that emotional intelligence to recognize and decipher what is what, and therefore they're mindlessly following a savior, someone that they think is gonna help their case scenario, which in contrary, they're actually making it worse for them. But the only reason why I refer to them as they is because they built this, and we are going to be the one to destroy it, because we know that is not right and we want better. We are basically coming into a new world, and there is destruction that needs to be done. And the reason why I'm saying they is because, again, it is us. It is we, the people, that can do this, because we outnumber them. And they think that they will continue to control us with fear, which is why we as a community, as us, the people, the everyday people, the citizens of this United States of America, we need to be united. Like, we need to literally come together and work towards the same goal, which is why hatred is not something that we should be striving for or encouraging or working with. We should be crushing the hatred and doing things with love and being compassionate towards people. I know it's really easy to point fingers at people. Trust me, I know when someone isn't being treated right, it's easy to just try to punish those who are not treating the people with kindness, and that's not gonna help. Like, I understand they're not doing the right thing in terms of ethical ways of moving through life, but along with you doing the same and following the same footsteps, it's not going to get anywhere. It's actually doing the opposite, and we're moving backwards if you sink to that level. You have to show up for yourself. You have to be in that equilibrium, that yin yang, that balance of showing up for yourself and showing up for your community, whatever that may look like for you. And it's going to look different for every single individual out there, and that is totally fine, and that is exactly what we need, because not everyone is the same. We're not robots. We are literally human individuals with individuality, with imagination, with different opinions, different perspectives, different upbringing, and different circumstances. And that is to say that with all the diversification that occurs within us, people can use that to an advantage to help fight the actual issue. Everything that you're doing is perfectly fine if it's not hurting anyone. If you're showing up for yourself and doing something for yourself, devoting yourself to yourself every single day, doing one thing to help yourself heal, showing up for yourself to be a better you, that single thing alone is doing so much for the whole collective, and that should give you some peace of mind. And also giving hope to people. I know false hope hurts sometimes, but we need to hope. We need that light at the end of the tunnel. We need to know that there's better for us, because there is. We deserve to live a life that is fulfilling, and a life that is not built on violence, or not only viewed or experienced with violence. Like, we deserve nourishment, we deserve gentle care, we deserve prioritization of thyself, and that is what everyone deserves. And that's what not a lot of people are used to, because we've all been on survival mode, and they want us to stay in survival mode, because in survival mode we don't have any time to prioritize ourselves. We're always just worried and focused on surviving. And that's why coming into the working on yourself and reprogramming your brain to believe that you deserve better is the first step, because you do deserve better. You don't deserve to be always trying to figure out if you're gonna make ends meet. Like, that is not the thing. And I know, because I'm still living in like those beliefs that I'm trying to break. I am 100% believed I'm living in a different timeline now, but that doesn't mean that the beliefs just disappear like that. You have to unprogram them and program your brain to believe new things, and that is the outcome of showing up for yourself, of prioritizing yourself, of choosing to be better for yourself and for everyone else. So if you are one to not move through self-action, knowing that what you're doing is helping yourself, if that's not something that you can prioritize, know that if you prioritize yourself, you're literally helping everyone around you. You're literally helping every single person around you. The whole world will feel. They might not know it's coming from you directly, but they will feel it. They will feel it. And the whole world will heal, one healed person at a time. And that's not to say that people heal and then they're done healing. Like, no, it is an ongoing, that's life. Like, you are your biggest project that you're going to be working on your whole life. And the more you prioritize yourself, the more you stick with that being your main priority, and knowing that the more you do so, the more you will be able to experience a life that is fulfilling, and a life that is filled with less violence, with less icky things that you feel like you don't deserve. Like, that is the whole point. So I'm gonna wrap this up by saying, if you show up for yourself, you are helping someone else. You are planting one seed at a time. You are one snowflake trickling on to create this big blizzard that will literally change the world. And the more you show up for yourself, the better, and the more we are able to come together. Because if you are healing yourself, you are able to approach things differently. You are able to smash the hatred with love. Whenever some issue comes where it's hatred, where it's hate, where it's violence, try moving at it with love and see where it gets you. See the different outcome that happens. Fire with fire makes more fire, But if you're fighting things with love, the outcome is different. It really is, because we are humans. We are connected to Source, God, and all they know is love. That's what it is. But here in the 3D, we get to experience everything, the hatred and all. And that doesn't mean we have to stoop to that level of working in that way. We have to remember who we are. We are connection. We're an extension of Source, of God, and we are moving through love if we check into our heart space, which is why we need to be more present in our everyday lives and get out of our heads and into our heart space. And the more we move with our heart, the more we move with intention, the more we experience and enjoy our experience here in this lifetime right now. So along with working with yourself and prioritizing yourself, I know you may feel also guilty for not doing more. So you can do more. You can prioritize yourself and have a healthy balance of showing up for yourself every single day, yet also showing up for your community. See, there's resources all along. If all you can do is share resources online, share resources to those you love, those you care about. Share them online, share them in person, directly, whatever it may be. Share the resources, because you never know who may need it. So just overshare all the resources that you can possibly, but don't get overly attached that alone. Just remember that there has to be a happy balance. If you can donate financially to those in need, do that. If you can donate food to food banks to those in need, do that. If you have a free time to volunteer, do that. But don't make it to the point where you feel like you have to do all of those things at once. If you feel like doing that, go ahead, but make sure you find a balance with also showing up for yourself and kind of unwinding the anxiety from what you've been hearing. I know guilt may come with feeling helpless and not knowing what to do. You have to remember that showing up for yourself is enough. Being yourself is enough. And working on yourself is enough. If you feel like you can and you have the mental, emotional capacity to do more, financially, physically, emotionally, mentally, whatever it may be, if you have the capacity, and check in with yourself every single day, like I stumbled upon them and I want to share them, go ahead. If you have a little bit extra cash and you want to donate, go ahead. But don't feel the need to do all of the above because you feel helpless and you want to do the most that you can to. And again, like I'm not going to tell you what to do, but this is just my approach that I feel like has helped me steer away from crippling anxiety and dysfunction and paralyzation of not being able to enjoy my summer and enjoy my life right now, is to find a balance. Check in with yourself every day. Where can I show up for my community? Where can I show up for others? If you have the emotional and physical and mental capacity to be an ear to someone who needs to rant, to someone who is experiencing this firsthand, go call your friend, go call whoever is experiencing these things to see what they may need. If they need you to run errands for them, whatever it is, just check in with yourself, because you are a priority, and the more you help yourself, the more you're able to help others. So make sure you find a equal balance with both, but know that the more you do things that are aligned with your purpose and your soul, your inner self, the more we heal collectively. So go help a neighbor out, go help a friend out, but also set your boundaries with yourself, because boundaries and energy are everything. And that's going to be another episode, because it's been brewing. Boundaries and energy is literally everything. And I hope you got some type of reassurance and you get to just let your shoulders down a little bit and take some weight off of your shoulders, because you showing up for you is making a difference in the world, and you being you is enough, and you being a human and feeling for these other humans is doing a lot, because that means you're connected to your heart space and you are having and holding that space for them and showing up for yourself. So I hope you have a great summer despite the world chaos. You make it the most. Make sure you spread awareness, spread your resources and your energy, but do it with boundaries. Do it with boundaries. Set your boundaries with yourself and prioritize yourself, and you will have a great summer. Don't forget to enjoy the little things and to be down here, not up here. Be down here. Be right here, right now. Right here, right now. Okay? I hope you stayed a while, and I hope you stay a while. And I hope you have a great summer. We're healing together. We're healing together. Well, there's no other way to heal than together, okay? In communion. So, hope you stay and join the community here so that we can heal and unfold together, one baby step at a time, one little snowflake at a time, one little seed planted at a time. I firmly believe we will make this world a better place to live in, to inhabit, despite what is being fed to us. Learn to decipher, learn to set those boundaries with yourself, with what you consume and what you give out. I love you guys, and thank you for watching Forever Unfolding. Bye.